Welcome to the Community Corner. My name is DeWitt and my two friends are...
Hello, my name is Karnig Castle.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Nicholas Gray.
Today we are so happy to bring to our audience a new friend to us all. Her name is Gulu. Our mission statement is to bring guests to our show with our connections to those with disabilities. Our guest today works at the Rochester YMCA. She has a son with challenges, and today we will share with all of us her journey as a parent who tried for years to find the diagnosis for her son, and so determination could be made to help develop a helping path for her son so he could have a productive life that would provide him various opportunities and respect. Please welcome Lee Gulu.
Thank you.
Lee, welcome to our show. Lee, welcome to our show. Welcome.
Lee, please
Welcome.
introduce yourself and tell us about your family.
My name is Lee Gulu. I work at the Auburn Hills YMCA. I'm a personal trainer there. And my family is myself, my son, and my boyfriend Joe.
What type of education did you take?
I have gone to college for exercise science, and I have certifications in personal training and in group exercise instruction. I am an ERYT 500 yoga instructor and a master Pilates trainer.
Cool.
Wow. So what is your current role at the YMCA?
I'm a personal trainer, and I'm also the fitness coordinator. And the fitness coordinator is the supervisor over the group exercise department. So I make sure that all the classes are, I do the scheduling. I make sure that I have instructors that have the certifications they need to do the classes. That's my other job there.
Wow.
Please tell us about your education.
My education, I went to OCC for exercise science.
Oakland Community College.
What did you notice about your son as he was growing up?
When he was first born, he was premature. He was 2 months premature. He weighed 314 when he was born. And in the beginning, he seemed to develop perfectly normal. But then as he started to interact with people and go to school, we started to notice some social things. He didn't get a lot of the cues that you would get from people to that you're getting too close. He didn't seem to have boundaries. I got a phone call one day when he was in kindergarten that he was hugging and kissing too much, and I thought that was, in my mind, I didn't see how that was a problem at that time. I thought an affectionate child was a great thing to have rather than a child that went up and slugged somebody or something like that. So that's when we first started to see things.
That kind of sounds like how I was too. I was born 3 months early.
Okay.
So I guess I basically have the same thing.
I don't know. You would have to go in and have all the testing. He had an 8-hour testing when he was 16 years old.
Yeah.
So that's how we found out.
Okay.
So Lee, please tell us about the various medical steps taken over the years for your son.
Well, when we noticed that he was having issues, we sat down with the teachers and they did a plan for him that didn't seem to go very well because it wasn't really addressing what his problems were. And he did have a lot of social issues with the other kids, so he didn't have a lot of friends. And the school really wasn't any help. That's when we turned to the medical field to try to find out what was wrong. And we went to Henry Ford Hospital and had testing done there. It was an 8-hour testing, and his father and I had to fill out a questionnaire that was 500 questions.
500 questions?
500 questions.
It's a lot of questions to answer.
It was.
A lot.
Yes, it was.
That's a
But it ultimately helped figure out what was wrong with him. Before we went home that day, we had a diagnosis. And he was 16 years old, so in one day we were able to get a diagnosis when we didn't know what it was for all those years.
Wow.
How long did all that take you?
That took 1 day.
Oh
That testing took 1 day. They had Michael in another room doing that part of the testing, and then his father and I were in the waiting room doing the questionnaire.
Okay. Dang, that's a long time.
It was a long 8-hour day.
Yeah.
So,
I'd say.
How did other students treat your son?
A lot of them, he was bullied. He was very badly bullied.
Bullied how?
Well, one child beat him up, but that child also had issues of his own. But they would make fun of him, or they would ignore him, things like that.
That's terrible. That is so
It's very
rude.
sad, yes. But children can be intolerant. If you're at all different, they're intolerant very often.
What information do you find out from the school officials?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
What information did you find out from the school officials?
Once we had a diagnosis, I went before all of his teachers and the school superintendent and the school psychiatrist. And actually, the psychiatrist from the school also tested him, and they came up with the exact same diagnosis that we had. The only information I could get other than the original diagnosis, there was only one book that was out there for professionals at that time about nonverbal learning disorder, which is my son's diagnosis. And so I did this big presentation for the teachers and the superintendent, and we were met with very closed minds. The one teacher that had known my son since Cub Scouts looked at us and said, "I don't buy it." And so we got very little help. We were asking for a tape recorder in the classroom. That is what the professionals told us would help him with school, and they didn't want to do that. So they didn't really want to accommodate him in any way.
Before I go on, I would like to say that sometimes when I was in school, I would be, I would get made fun of. I would get made fun of because of the way I talk.
As in back in high school, people used to bully me all the time. They say, "Hey, bonehead." I mean, that's just rude. What is wrong with America? What is wrong with America today?
Well, on a side note about this, I think that if we're at all different, it scares them. I think it scares people because
It scares me too.
they're this far from being there. We're all this far from being different. And so I think they're scared, and their defense is to bully.
Yeah, me too.
That's bullying is just a wrong thing to do.
It is very much so.
What steps did you take with the school staff?
Well, I had that meeting with them, and when we found that they weren't willing to help us, I actually took him out of the school district he was in, and I put him in a different school district. I kind of shopped around, so to speak, and I did that presentation at a couple of different schools until I found one that they welcomed him with open arms, and they helped him very much.
Cool.
On a personal note, the way that I helped him, nonverbal learning disorder is a disorder where the person does not get the nonverbal cues in a conversation, which is huge. That's 85 to 95% of a conversation. He cannot read body language at all. So in my research, I found that he could learn body language and faces from rote, from seeing it over and over. He knew my mom's face because he had seen it since he was born.
Okay.
So I would sit him down in front of me, and he was 16 years old at this point, and I would make emotional faces in front of him and teach him what it was. And then just through a day, all of a sudden I would look at him and I would make a face and I would say, "Michael, what does this mean?" So that we could get him to interact a little better socially.
Okay. How's he doing with all that right now?
Well, he's now 29 years old,
Okay.
and he works for Lowe's Home Improvement. He has it much easier as an adult, I will say that. He has one very good friend and a few other friends. He's extremely intelligent with a very high IQ, and at work they see that, and they actually appreciate him at work. So he's doing wonderful. He is doing quite well. He also is a DJ on the side.
That's good.
Like me, I'm a DJ.
Yes, I know you are. He's a little different than you are. He composes music, and that's the type of DJ he is, and he does a podcast occasionally. So he's doing quite well.
That's good.
Yes. He went to college.
Does your son have hobbies? If so, what does he like to do?
He likes to work with the music. His keyboard, he writes music and enters contests a lot with it to try and win other DJ equipment.
So, Lee, so when did you finally get a diagnosis from all these doctors?
When he was 16.
16 years old?
Yes, he was 16 years old before we really knew what the problem was.
That's just terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I agree.
How does your son spend his free time?
Sitting in front of a computer.
So he loves computers.
He loves computers.
Same
yes.
with me.
He loves Twitter and message boards, and
Yeah.
he plays a few video games, but that's not how he spends most of his time.
Yeah.
He loves going to the YMCA and working out.
That's cool.
Martial arts are his favorite.
Martial arts, the art of Chinese
With
combat.
Diagnose. How did that change things?
Even though I didn't have a lot, there wasn't a lot of information out there to help him. Just having a diagnosis helps because we now know what it is. I knew a little bit about autism. I didn't know a lot about it, so I learned a lot more and found out that his disorder is, at the time that he was given the diagnosis, his disorder was considered rare. I don't know if it still is. It's a step below Asperger's. So I don't know if they really think it's that rare or if they just hadn't identified it at that time, because there's been a whole lot more research done in autism since then.
You know, because my friend David is a part of the Autism Guild, aren't you? Are you not?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Tell about that.
I did not know
recommend
that.
it. I'm the official closer.
Okay.
Read the movie, but I only have with Dino. Then they have a talent show. Then I'm the wrap up.
I want to hear more about that later.
Okay.
Tell us a bit about your son now.
How he is now?
Yes. How is he doing now?
I'm very proud of my son. My son is very self-assured. He has a lot of confidence. He knows how intelligent he is, which can be good and bad as a mom.
I know.
He's doing marvelous for the beginning that he had. He's doing absolutely wonderful.
Excellent.
Well, that's good.
That's very good.
I'm glad he's doing good.
That's important.
What are your son's dreams for his life, for his future?
That's a very good question.
Yes.
I'm not sure. The DJing probably is the biggest thing. He's very content working part-time in retail. He loves retail. So I don't know that my son has really big dreams. I don't.
It happens.
It sounds like he and I would have a lot in common.
Well, I would like him to meet you gentlemen. But he has come
That'd be
so
nice.
far, and maybe that's why. Maybe he's already met some of those dreams because he's come so far from where he was.
You would love to meet him.
Exactly. We would love to meet him someday.
Okay, well, he had to be to work at 5 o'clock today. So
Oh, you had to go work at 5?
yeah, so he couldn't be here today.
Oh, okay. Do you or have you worked with any autism organizations?
No, I have some friends that do, but I never have.
You never have?
We, as me, my two friends, have to recommend it.
I'm sure.
We do. Advocating for your son is very important.
Those, the two I could think of are Moke and CLS. I'm a Moke and David and Rhino CLS.
Okay.
Because we are the future.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
We are the doers.
Do you have any more questions?
No, I do not.
You? Okay. You guys threw me off.
I know where I am.
How do you see yourself now as helping your son achieve his goals and dreams?
I think the biggest help I can be to him now is to be supportive in anything that he decides to try.
And that's pretty good.
All right, I'll close then.
It's done.
It's the time. What is your favorite drink?
My favorite drink? Tea.
Tea.
I absolutely love tea.
Okay, Lee. what is your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show. Walking Dead just finished, and I was very sad. They finished for the
Walking
season.
Dead.
Walking Dead. I also like Game of Thrones and True Blood. Those are my 3 favorite shows,
My
yes.
favorite shows are NCIS, CSI, and Criminal Minds.
Those are good shows, yes.
My favorite are NCIS. The new one should be Hollow. And Almost Human.
Oh, you know what? I saw some a couple seasons ago that Almost Human. I like that. Oh no, I'm thinking of a different one. Yes.
Did you watch any cartoons when you were little?
Yes. Cartoons were very different when I was little than what they are now.
Like what? Like what?
Well, we had Felix the Cat
Peanuts.
and Beanie and Cecil and Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse and those ones, but they were very different than they are
You
now.
remember Ren and Stimpy?
Oh, I love Ren and Stimpy.
I like Bugs Bunny, Mickey Mouse, and there's one day my mom told me about Felix the Cat. So I went on YouTube, I found a cartoon, I started watching it, and it was funny.
Isn't it? That was my favorite when I was a little girl.
Yeah.
My favorite cartoons are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was a teenager.
You were a teenager at that time?
I think I think was
I watched.
Master Universe and G.I. Joe.
I also like Mario when I was quite young.
You watched Mario?
I used to.
Look at what show?
Back in the 80s.
Which one?
Can't remember now.
Do
Okay,
you remember?
gentlemen,
Those,
it's closed now.
Okay.
What a great interview. We have all been beneficial of speaking to you today, sharing with us a journey through working with the medical community and school community, trying to understand how her son learned, through thus obtaining the best program possible to build their strengths. Families with children have challenges. We have all had the tales to tell today. I got it. Have learned about the section of autism. It is not that motive, but those who have an issue need to deserve support of all levels. It is most important and beneficial to meet you, Lee. Present your information to our audience.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for
Great.
coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I'm Ryan Nicholas Gray.
I'm DeWitt channel since January.
You're watching ONTV.
I'm watching ONTV.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye buns.